Okay, I think we are good. Okay. Hey, YouTube, Facebook, good to see you. So today we're going to be doing another live stream, and we're going to be installing this American Standard Studio tub. So I'm really excited to show you this. This is one of my favorite tubs. It's basically an acrylic tub. It's a 19-inch deep tub, so an actual adult can actually use this tub. 32 inches deep, or depth, I should say, into the wall, and it's just a standard 60-inch. Now, it is acrylic. I really do find them to be the easiest ones to install. They last really long time as long as you don't scratch it. They're easy to clean. And you know, one thing I really do like about American Standard, it's one of my go-to type of tubs, is that they have a great warranty. They have a lifetime warranty. Compared to a lot of other brands, you get like 1 year and that's it. So, you know, you really have to consider about how much, how much money you're spending on in a bathroom renovation. You want something that somebody's going to be able to stand behind. So we're going to be setting this demonstration. I have a couple of different live streams going on at the same time. So again, leave your comments in the questions, or leave your questions in the comments, and I can try to get back to you on that. Now I got to figure out how I'm going to do that. I guess I should probably get on YouTube here to see, and Facebook to see everybody who's on here. But yeah, I'm really excited to show you this because it really is an easy installation. It's just a matter of following the steps and being, kind of preparing yourself throughout the process of realizing what needs to be done to make things level and set correctly. So let me see here. We got our live here done to make things full. I don't want to be talking here. And then where is my chat? There's my chat. Okay, Dan Hodges, good to see you. Money for nothing. How you doing, man? And does it waterproof underneath the tub surround? No, you don't have to really do waterproofing underneath of the tub. We're going to be actually doing a self-leveling, floor leveling over a heated flooring system. So we'll be waterproofing over top of that. I mean, it's not going to hurt for you if you were using Ditra or Schluter Ditra, some kind of a waterproof membrane. Not a bad idea to go all the way underneath of that. That's totally acceptable. But really, really there's no need to really do that. So. But yeah, so we got the drywall up, obviously you can see, and all the electrical done. So now it's time to really start getting into the nuts and bolts of the bathroom. And we're going to try to even show the trap installation. Hopefully that'll work out all right. We're going to go on FaceTime so you can actually see the connection that we're going to be doing underneath. So thanks again for joining us, and be sure to leave a comment, give a like on this video. That always helps out. And let me get over to Facebook too. We've got all these different live streams going on. I'm on Amazon Live, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, and then we're on Instagram too. So it's it's going to be a fun time here. One of these days I'm going to have to get something that will get me all the comments all in the one short place. But for now, this is going to have to do. So we go to my channel here, and we got 4 people on there. Okay, so I'm going to scour over the comments as we're doing this, but I'm going to blank myself out here and get onto the demonstration here. So me desktop, there we go. All right, so we got a couple, okay, we're good. All right, so we need well, we could probably do, it's gonna go. You wanna do a video and it'll do an intro, yeah.
Okay, so we're doing an intro for the installation of this, okay.
Yeah. So I'm gonna show you how to install one of my favorite tubs, the American Standard Studio tub. This is an acrylic tub, and what's really great about it, it's a deep soaker, so an actual adult can actually fit in this thing. It's acrylic, so it's really easy to clean, and the installation is really streamlined. It's very simple to use or to install, and then on top of that, you know, American Standard really does back up their products. They do have a lifetime warranty. So it really is great for many reasons, but really the installation and the lightness of installing this makes it really easy for DIYers or anybody who's doing construction. But we're going to show you how to go about installing this. You always want to use a mortar bed for this, but let me show you all the tips and we'll get right into it. I want to do it again.
Yeah, go ahead. Do you want to do it standing or do you like kneeling?
I don't know. Hey guys, you guys got to get in here. Come on. Scuba Kai. Come on, get in there. Get in there. In. Okay.
All right, you can go again.
All right. All right, so I'm going to show you how to install an American Standard studio tub. This is one of my favorite acrylic tubs. One of the biggest reasons is there's so many different options and designs that can fit your home. And a lot of them are deep soakers like this one. This is 19 inches deep, so an actual adult can take a bath in this thing. And it's really easy to install. So I'm going to show you step by step of how to go about doing this.
I like that
Is that one great? Okay. All right.
Yeah, it was a nice touch with the sign.
Okay, so the first thing is I kind of already dry fitted it. Now you're going to have to multiple times it's going to take to install this thing. So this is actually a kind of a treat because we have basically my rough-in framing. As you can see, I had to build in each side of the wall. This was a 6-foot wide bathroom, so we needed to frame this in. So basically I have 6 inches on this side, 6 inches on that side. This kind of really makes it easy because it's really easy to move the tub in and out. When you have existing ply or drywall or plaster, it could be a lot more difficult to get out. I would advise if you're trying to install this in an area where you're trying to keep the outside wall, at least cut out 2 inches of drywall outside of the framing area, because that will make it easier to actually get this thing tilted into place. But having it in like an alcove situation like this, it is pretty easy. The other thing is that we're going to have access down below to hook up the P-trap. If you're a DIYer and you've never done this before, having access is really key. If you're, it's really difficult to do this and try to get this set up when you don't have the accessibility to actually hook up the P-trap. But we'll show you a little bit later on how to go about doing that. And but the first thing is just setting this into place and making sure that it sits level. Okay, so pay attention to your subfloor, what you're going to be doing. Now, if you're a little bit unlevel, I mean, actually, even if you're a lot of unlevel, you can adjust this to work with your situation, because we're going to be using a mortar bed underneath of this. So you can add as much mortar as you need to level this out. Now, obviously, it'd be a lot easier if you're pretty close to level to begin with, but knowing that, putting your level on the floor and making sure that things are level is really going to help guide you through on installing this. It's going to let you know what you have to do to address it. Now, floor leveler is also a great idea if you have the time to set that up. Putting floor leveler down and making everything 100% flat is just going to make this so much easier. In my situation, I am a little bit off. I did put some new framing down, but I am slightly off. I'm a little bit high on this side from the left side here, which, hey, it's not too bad when it's a tub and you have a little bit of drainage that way, but we're going to set this completely level so that it's easier for our towel work and everything else. Now, if you're doing a surround on top of this, like an acrylic surround, you're really going to want this tub to be level. It really gets very difficult to install any of those tub surrounds. If you're even a 1/4 inch out, it makes it very difficult. But tile, there's definitely some wiggle room there. In some ways, tiling a tub surround can make it a little bit easier for unlevelness and unevenness. So, all right, so we're basically level here. And what I'm going to do is just mark my studs here. So this is going to basically allow me to measure down, because you want to put a ledger board all the way around. So we also want to check this way, make sure that this is level. Yeah, so okay. And then just to let you know, I basically framed this in and I left myself an 1/8 inch on either side, so there is a little bit of a gap. that just makes it a little bit easier to install. So if you make your rough-in opening 60 1/4 inches, it usually works out pretty well. Because ultimately, my backer board is just going to be sitting right on top of this tub lip. So it, you know, having that 1/8 inch gap on either side makes it a lot easier to be able to get this tub in place. All right, so we got our or you know what, also we want to mark our floor too. So let's just mark our trap in here. Don't be afraid to walk up here and do it. It's not a bad idea to walk up and mark this. Now we already know the dimensions of what we need to cut out, but at least we have some good reference of where that drain is. So just to show you the bottom of this tub, you can see it has a couple of plywood ledgers here at the bottom. So we're going to be putting mortar all within this cavity area. It has a pretty durable fiberglass base. So that's really nice. And what I really like is that the actual flange is all bonded to this whole mechanism here. A lot of these tubs, these acrylic tubs, this kind of just flaps around and it's not a really good, you know, some of those manufacturers, I don't know what it's you know, you're better off to have it all basically fiberglass reinforced like this than having your tub flange flap around. So I really like the construction of that. Everything's fairly, you know, a thick construction. So we're gonna basically set up our ledger board first. So we want to measure, again, don't stand over there. Okay, so we got basically, now one thing about ledger boards is that, you know, the bottom of these tubs are never 100% even all the way through. So just try to estimate the best you can, and you're probably going to have to adjust that ledger board to fit. So we got about 1.5 inches that we basically, the thickness of this flange. So that's what we're going to use as reference to bring our ledger board on that wall. All right, so we got 5 foot. Okay, you definitely want to use screws for this just because you're going to want to adjust this. So let's mark this down 1.5 inches. Okay. Barely see that. It's 1.5 inches. So get our level. So I got just 2 screws in there. I'm going to dry fit the tub again. I do have some shims here because of this. Like I said, we're a little bit low on this side, so I'm going to use that. Okay, so we're right up to the line. And you just want to feel down around that flange and see how that feels. No, we should be pretty level with the. There we go. Yeah, a little bit. Probably go up a little bit more here. So we'll raise that ledger just slightly. This is a process, so you're going to have to take this out a couple of times. That'll work. Okay, so then we also want to get some ledgers on the side here. So this definitely still has to be raised up, but that'll be all right. We'll get that with the side pieces here. So we could probably go from here. So marking the edge of my tub here. We'll just mark this, and we'll mark this. So we got 30 inches. We'll go 30. Here goes center. All right, so for this, we want to put a ledger board on the back and this side. So we're going to come out 30 inches. So we're going to end our board right here. So this is the part that I a little bit because I always like to put my overflow in before I set the tub. And if you bring this ledger board all the way across, it's really kind of problematic. So I'm just going to get some 2 pieces. I'll make one 10 inches. Actually, we'll just make them both 10 inches, and then we'll have enough space so that you know, the overflow from my tub doesn't interfere with it. so this will help keep this all level this way. Oh, I didn't want to make that 30. What am I doing here? I wanted to make that 28 1/4. That's too far. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so that leaves us with room for our overflow, which is about 16 inches. So plenty of space there, and we still got the support of this. So now for this guy, for our drain, basically need to be 12 3/4. And then our center is basically 16. So we want to give ourselves like, you know, about 4.5 inches on either side. So like a 9-inch hole. So we're going to basically cut this right here out for our drain. So we might as well do that now so that when we dry fit it again, we can make sure that that's going to work. Okay, so we'll go ahead and cut up against our stud stud right there. Oh, yeah, it kind of is, isn't there? We'll have to see whether that might need notched out, but we'll have to see once we dry fit it. So I had a feeling it was going to be, we should be 18 inches or what was that, 9 inches. So this probably won't interfere, but we'll see it once we actually go to set in the tub again. I was going to set the tub again. Is there a broom up here?
Yeah, and the dog room, I think.
You guys be good. Hey, stay here. That should be working. Okay, that's not too bad. Yeah, so we do have a little bit of a gap here. About almost a ½ inch here. But that is level. I know I didn't check the subfloor this way, but looking at my drain, so it looks like we have plenty of room here. We almost got 2 inches here down to that, so I think we're going to be fine. The only thing I wanted to double check was my floor, because now we're 100% level all the way around. Those ledgers really make it easy. So now all you have to do is just apply some mortar to support the base, and you'll be good to go. So it's really that easy. So let me just double check my subfloor on there, because this is all tight now. But I am kind of raised up here, ½ inch. Not a big deal, because I'm honestly, by the time I've done floor leveling, my my heated flooring system, that's going to work out just fine. Let me just double check that. Yeah. Yeah, we are showing unlevelness. Here, come over here. So you can see here, I am about a 1/2 inch off. So to make this level, that is about right. So it's sitting back here, not up here. Not a big deal. I'll just put enough mortar underneath of there to work just fine. So you can overcome unlevelness pretty easily. All right. Let me get my drain assembly. I don't know if anybody's... I'm sorry. Is there gonna be 5 people on there? Yeah, there's 12 people. 15 people are watching now. Okay, all right. All right, so our drain assembly. All right, so I always advise installing the drain. Is that on? Okay. All right, so we're going to install the drain assembly before we set this in place. So if you're doing this by yourself, this really helps out because then you're not trying to reach around the tub and connect the drain assembly while you're doing this. So, and then if you don't have access, you almost in some ways need to install the drain assembly before setting it in place. But it's definitely a good advantage to be able to do this. So we're going to go ahead and add this drain assembly. Now, when you purchase a tub like this, always go with the recommended, the recommended drain assembly for it. This one is the American Standard drain assembly. So it could fit various different size tubs. So we're going to have to cut some of this down, but they all kind of virtually work the same in a lot of ways. So we'll just go ahead and connect this. So it's got the tail piece. There's a threaded part for that. We'll probably unthread this again when we go downstairs. In fact, we'll just leave this out. That actually doesn't really need to be in there right now. All right, so I always use clear silicone for this. So just 100% silicone. I'll grab my caulking gun and my cutter. Actually, I don't know where that tubing cutter went. Where did I last have that? Oh, there it is. That's what I was looking for. Okay, so drain assembly. A rubber gasket for the bottom of your tub. And then got the drain assembly piece. So this is a pop-up drain. So it just pops up. I find them to be the easiest to install because you're not having any type of mechanism that you have to connect to this. So this is our T. And then let me grab my other wrench. Actually, let's go into here so you can actually see it better with the light. Yeah, you can stand right there.
Can I go around the other side?
Yeah. That's, well, yeah, you're gonna have to go over.
Let's just start here.
All right. Okay, so apply a generous bead of silicone on the actual bottom of the drain. This is going to give some good insurance. We got a rubber gasket. Okay, then I also, a lot of people, then I also put the silicone on the bottom of the tailpiece. Again, this is just extra insurance. It's not probably necessary with the rubber gasket. But then on the actual drain assembly, put another nice 1/4-inch bead of silicone around the actual drain piece. All right, then I'll have to show you this on this side.
Oh.
Okay, then we'll just put a bead here on our tub, and we'll be able to clean off any excess silicone, so be generous with it. Okay, then this is our tail piece. So you really want to see that silicone kind of oozing out around that. I don't know if you can even see any of it, huh? So you want to see that silicone oozing out around this. So it's a good sign when you see that. All right, back this way. Okay, so we got a rubber gasket on there. And now we'll just thread this on. And I have this little tool here, this rigid tool, allow me to connect this drain. Now the one thing about this, you don't want to over tighten it to where you're getting that rubber gasket to squeeze out or anything, because it's real easy to squeeze that gasket out from underneath of there. But then just smear the rest of that silicone, and that should be a good connection.
You setting it back in?
I'm going to do this part here, so you can stand there. Okay, so keep in mind, if you need to get this tail piece over one way or the other, it's not like this has to be a completely perpendicular with the tub. It's not a big deal if you twist your drain side to side in order to get your pipe to connect to it. Now we have access down below, So we'll be able to adjust it to what we need with the actual P-trap. But if you had some movement and you needed to move it this way, there's no problem having this slanted. The only problem you're going to have is trying to connect your overflow, and you can always get a couple 45-degree bends to do that. So if you're in a jam, you know, you can tilt this to the left or right and get this to connect. It's more important to get the drain connection, and then you can connect your overflow later on. Now, you're not going to have all the components to refinagle that. You're going to have to buy some, you know, new fittings to connect that at an offset, but it is an option. All right, so then these are just basically slip fittings. So we got our locking nut, and then our slip fitting always have it's just like a regular P-trap, so the beveled tapered edge always goes towards the fitting. So yeah, you put the nut on first and then your fitting. Okay, so then we're also going to have to dry fit this, because now this is really long because they have it for multiple different sizes. So inside this package is the Overflow Assembly, and here you'll find, this is the actual cover, but then the rubber gasket that you want to be installing on this overflow. Okay, so hold on to those screws afterwards. But this guy basically goes on around this gasket, and then when I go to set this, this other rubber gasket goes on the inside. Okay, so overflows are just as important as the actual drain assembly itself, because obviously if you overflow the tub, you know, you need to make sure that it's gonna drain. So don't skimp out on the overflow. You know, you have to really test everything when you fill this up. So we'll just mark this so that we're in the middle of this fitting, so that we're not struggling to get it together. So we're gonna have to cut this little bit amount off. And I like to use this pipe cutter for that. This little rigid pipe cutter is pretty nice for this. So just make sure I'm on the, I don't know where my mark went. Let's try that again. Yeah, something right there. Oh, what the hell is it doing? Doesn't really like it. All right, it's a little bit thicker for that tubing cutter. Let me grab. Let's use the old-fashioned Sawzall here. Okay, so same thing here. I would apply silicone on the back of the tub here so that this can have a nice solid connection. Okay, so then we want to get our slip knot on this overflow and our locking flange here. Okay, so get that kind of set. We have to kneel down. What's that? You're not going to see that. It's going to have a white cap on it. Okay, so our Overflow is nice and connected now. You can see this all oozing out around the back here. That's good because, you know, again, the overflow is just as important as the real drain. And we'll just tighten this. And these just get hand tightened. Okay, so that's connected. I'm going to get a cloth to wipe off the excess silicone. And you can just wipe off that excess silicone. Okay. All right, so it's probably not a bad idea, just to make sure that this overflow and everything's going to go in all right before I mix the mortar. Let's go ahead and just dry fit this again, make sure that we can get this in okay. Why's that so stiff there? Huh, why is that so stiff on there?
Try to lift up the left side a little bit.
Come on. There we go. I think that is gonna hurt. Yeah, it is slightly holding that up. All right, so that is slightly holding that up on our, yep. I'm gonna go downstairs and mark that.
To notch that out.
Yeah. that really is becoming quite cumbersome. Oh, it's because it's hitting on that bottom part of that. Boy, it's hitting on the bottom of that plywood here. You on? You're on? Yeah. Okay, all right. All right, so this is notching out a little bit. I gotta notch this a little bit. Nothing wrong with notching an inch or so off of your joist just to get that plumbing to work here. You just don't want to go more than 1/3 of the span of the actual structure. So it's, you know, it's all within reason. So we're gonna notch a little bit of this out. Of course, it's got to be right on a knot of some sort. There, that's enough to get that to work. No, I'm not doing it again.
Mixing the mortar?
Yeah. That's really.
I know that stand is. I know the stand is good. It's just that.
Yeah, I know. I need a different apparatus for it.
What if I below?
No. That's gonna work.
This on anything?
Yeah, I'll have to do, I guess. Not really over worried about it. What? Why do you want to stand over here? You good? Okay. All right, so for reinforcing this tub, we're going to use a little bit of mortar mix. This is just a regular mason mix. You can really use any type of mortar mix. I just refrain from using anything with an aggregate because you want to make this so that you can actually set the tub in and don't fight any of the stones that might be in it. So just a standard mortar mix is all you need. So we're going to mix this full bag because we are trying to level this out a little bit. So having a little bit of stiffness to it, like a mortar, like a brick mortar, I'd say, is probably pretty good. So go ahead and mix this. I feel a little bit too much in this bucket. To stand over here. Don't worry about those cameras. This is about this video. You good? All right. Okay, so to protect the plywood, now, I mean, this is kind of a gray area. It's not really a really big deal to just set the mortar directly onto the plywood. But if you want to protect it, it wouldn't be bad just to use a little trash bag and then put that down so then the mortar doesn't bond to the actual concrete. So I'm just going to set this down because we're really not, I mean, we're setting it and we're reinforcing the tub. We're not actually like setting like a mud bed for a shower or anything. This is just literally for support. So you can just use, you know, just a regular garbage bag like this and then just staple that in place. And then you can apply the mortar over top of it. So we kind of want to keep this in the center. Something like that. That's where the main support right here is. So this is what you want to basically fill in. Grab that broom. Real quick, I want to show this too. So this bucket mortar mixer is really helpful for mixing concrete, mortar, anything like that. A regular mixing paddle just always makes it too loose. So this is definitely worth its weight in gold here. I use it for all types of concrete mixes. Allows you to get things a little bit thicker so you can set them easily. Huh? Yeah. Do I have it all in my face?
No.
Okay, where'd my caulking gun go? There it is. Okay, so this is just one additional little tip to be able to set your tub and eliminate any squeaking, and that is to just use a little bit of silicone right on top of your ledger board. This kind of helps secure everything together, holds everything together, and then really kind of prevents any of that squeaking if anything was rubbing between the flange and this board. So just coat that with a generous amount of silicone. Okay, so then hopefully this is the final installation here. So it's not going to hurt to step on it at this point because you're trying to get it embedded into the cement. So that should work out good. So we want to pre-drill some holes on here. Where the hell did that drill go? The blue one. I just had that in here. Huh. I sworn I put it in here. Oh, there it is. Okay, so there's two ways to go about mounting this, and one would be to get some fender washers. So you put the screw up above it, and then the fender washer would pinch the side of the tub, or you could just simply drill through this and add a screw. Either way is acceptable. It's just whether you want to puncture the side of your flange or not. And then obviously don't be tensioning it too much or you'll end up, yeah, it's not too bad. It's good there. I'm good there. Okay. So then I just pre-drill each stud. You can, if you could tighten it too much, you could crack the flange. So just screw it into where it's tight and leave it at that. So it prevents and creates a nice. Let me just wipe up that tub.
more than that.
Yeah. What's that? Yeah, it was from that spray foam. All right, so that's the installation of the tub. We're gonna go downstairs and do the actual train, the trap connection, but I'm gonna have to use this phone. So if you wanna follow me on YouTube, I'll show you that. Thanks Instagram for following along here. It's great to see all the people on here. I don't know if I have any questions. I might have time for one or two here. But yeah, looks like a lot of people joined here today. So again, you can always just speed through the section. We'll keep this on after we're done here. What's that? Yeah, I don't see anybody, any comment, but hopefully that, hopefully you're able to see most of what I did there. So.
So you need an apprentice or a son.
Yeah, someday soon here. You want to turn that off, or?
Yeah, I'm putting this camera down, right?
What's that?
Putting this camera down so we can do the phone.
No, absolutely not.
So I'm doing the phone and
I'm doing the phone on the tripod. We're taking the Instagram's coming off of here, and then we're doing the FaceTime for YouTube.
Gotcha. So that's gonna be on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I want to get the good footage on that.
I need to take this mask off though, right?
All right. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Instagram. Take care.
Money for Nothing said I have painted about 5 bathtubs. Would you suggest replacing the tub or just painting it? What's easiest?
Well, I mean, the epoxy tub coating is really good. Yeah, I mean, it all depends on your budget, obviously. If you're renovating your entire bathroom, I would go with a new tub. I wouldn't leave an old tub unless there's some kind of design feature about it that really makes sense. So if it's like an old, like classic cast iron tub that you just isn't made anymore, then yeah, it's probably worth doing that. The epoxy coating. There's actually is a great DIY product called, oh boy, what was that called? Eco. I can't remember what it was called now. I'll have to get back to you on the name of the epoxy, but it's really great stuff. I did it on my other channel. And I'm going to probably be demonstrating that on another cast iron tub, but ultimately I'd always go towards a new tub just because it is kind of a lot easier just installing one of these versus masking everything off, painting it. And there's a lot of small issues that you can have with actually painting the tub, but again, it depends on what level of renovation you're doing. If you're just trying to update things. You know, that epoxy coating should definitely do a good job of it. All right, Amazon, thanks for joining me today. Hopefully you're able to see some of this. I'm gonna have to get a better stand for this so that you guys can see. So sorry if you didn't see the full demonstration, but check out my YouTube channel. It'll have basically a better live stream where I have the PTZ camera overlooking this. So, all right, thanks again. Take care. Okay. All right, so let's go downstairs. And you're, oh yeah, we're gonna bring that on the tripod. Boy, you can't really. Probably doesn't get much better than that. Yeah, you're gonna have to probably. Yeah, let me get the. I think I'm gonna need the light too. You think?
Yeah, probably.
All right, let me, I'll call you up there. I'll answer a couple questions if there is anything up here. Okay guys, so we're gonna go ahead, excuse me, we're gonna go ahead and install this P-trap on here. So I'm gonna FaceTime Nikki so that she can get this on the live stream so you can see this whole connection. So let me see here. Any thoughts about adding insulation around the tub to reduce the hollow sound? Major, definitely a good idea. You definitely doesn't hurt to do that for sure. I mean, you know, there's really not much to these tubs. So it's not like the old cast iron ones where you couldn't really, you know, it was so dense that it didn't make a difference. But yeah, these acrylic ones, you're definitely gonna hear it. And especially around the drain, I see that a lot of times. It's not a bad idea. I definitely did it around my own home. I kind of put insulation around all of the drain assembly and everything so you don't hear it. So yeah, definitely worthwhile to do. All right, let me call. Okay. Okay, perfect. That's awesome. All right. You have it muted? Yep. All right. So FaceTime, move that over. Yeah, that should work out good. Now we can see underneath of the tub. So this is something that, you know, if you don't have access, this makes it tremendously better and easier. It really allows you to fill up the tub with water, make sure it drains, really check all for leaks. Now, obviously, I wouldn't see most of you basically taking this much of your ceiling out. This was a different situation where I needed to replace that ceiling anyways, so I had plenty of access. But if you could at least get like an 8" by 8" square hole underneath of your tub down below, it is really worth the effort. And if you have access behind the tub, obviously you can do all of this from there as well. But this is definitely the superior way to do it, and it'll really allow you to connect that and make you feel pretty safe about it too. So, all right, so we're gonna go ahead and connect this P-trap. It should be pretty simple here, and it's just a matter of gluing it and connecting it. So I'm gonna take myself off of here. All right, there we go. Where'd that silicone go? You ready?
Yep.
So that is echoing. It's not muted. Oh, it's because it's hearing it through me. Can you turn down the volume? Yeah, okay. So because it was, yeah, we're good. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna make the connection. This is really the ultimate way to go, is having some kind of hole and access underneath your tub if you don't have the back access to the tub. Even if, you know, I really do highly recommend being able to get underneath this trap. It makes it so much easier to connect it and then to ensure that there isn't any leaks. So this is the little tail piece that came with the drain. So I would just advise putting a little bit of silicone on this. This is kind of notorious thing to leak on you, is where this threads into this existing pipe. There's a couple different fittings that you can use onto here. Obviously this is a male thread here that you can use, but we're just going to use this existing tail piece for this. And that silicone just is going to help make sure that those threads don't leak. You could use Teflon tape or even, you know, pipe sealant as well. All right, let me grab my all right, so then it's just a matter of finding what's going to work. So what we have here is just a regular solvent weld P-trap. So this is going to get glued in, and then I'm going to have a little short piece of PVC here. Now this is just a slip fitting 1.5 inches that will slide onto here. So let's just take a look at what this will look like. So you usually want to put your P-trap on this way and just see what this is going to do. So it looks like I need to take, that's actually going to fit pretty well. I actually didn't even plan that one as far as the distance. That worked out pretty well. So I need to cut this down a little bit, this riser pipe, so that I have enough room to connect this. So just looking at this, yeah, we're pretty much going to be, I could pretty much go fitting the fitting here and work out fine. So that's what I'm going to do. So we'll just get it like a, what is that? It's just 2.5 inch piece. No, really about 1 inch. We'll go with like a 2-inch piece. So we'll do that. Okay, so we'll get this prepped. So we're gonna get our PVC primer. push this stupid thing out here again. Kind of run out of glue here. Okay. Make sure we got plenty of glue on everything. And as we're going to kind of do this simultaneously. Just hold out for a couple seconds. Just make sure your fittings are tight. That's all there is to it. So as you can see, a lot easier when you have full access below, because now you really, it's really kind of foolproof, and you can really make sure that you're getting a good connection to everything. So good to go on that. We'll be hooking up the faucet next, and then testing everything, make sure that the overflow is leak free, and then obviously the main drain to the tub. Yeah, I think that worked out good. Okay, so that takes care of that. Great. And then just click this off of here. Yep, that's myself. Where's the main? FaceTime is off. Okay. Let's see if we're still live here. Where am I? Yeah. Oh, okay. There we go. All right. So there you go. There's the installation of the tub. Thanks so much for joining me today. Now the next thing that we're going to do is the actual faucet. So we're going to probably take lunch here, and we're going to get into installing the actual faucet. Marciege waterproofing a curbless shower in the drywaller's joint compound of the drywall. I'm using Kerdi on the walls. Will red guard over the drywall be enough for thin set and Kerdi to stick to? Red guards, custom is really not going to recommend using red guard over drywall. They're not going to warrant any of that coverage on it. But in my experience, a little bit of joint compound over the drywall has never really been an issue. The thin set is going to bond to that well for the Kerdi walls. So, you're better off not to mud it, because, you're really relying on the mud to be what's adhering the thin set to, because you're not actually bonding it to the actual substrate, the drywall itself. But as long as the drywall mud is well bonded, I mean, you really shouldn't have an issue. Now, if you wanted to maybe kind of consolidate the, basically prime coat that probably wouldn't hurt. Using something like Mapei Eco Prime wouldn't be bad, but you're still relying on that actual joint compound at that point to be adhered to the wall. And typically, I've never seen joint compound really just fall off the wall. So you should be in good shape. I really wouldn't be too overly concerned about it. I see it all the time. Now, Schluter, on the other hand, they probably don't recommend that and would prefer you did not do that. But again, it's only because they're saying, hey, you're going over joint compound. The joint compounds of the drywall. That's actually the real connector there, and that is true. But I don't foresee you ever really having a problem with that. So, but yeah, let me go on to Facebook, see if anybody's there asking any questions. Yeah, John Swearingen, you're right. Yes, 6 or 7 times they're installing. I got 2 people on there. So, all right. Well, I hope these live streams are beneficial to you. At least gives you a real world scenario of how this is all installed. We'll have obviously some polished videos of this that will be done in like 8 minutes. It'll look like it took nothing to do. So, look forward to doing that. And thanks so much. And we'll see you on the next live stream. Probably a couple hours to do this faucet.